Ever get that antsy feeling, when you're waiting for something big?
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine that something big is, well, your leader coming down a mountain, but not just any leader, right? He's carrying the literal word of God.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with this.
That's the scene we're diving into today, the story of the golden calf, straight out of the book of Exodus.
Exodus, the ultimate story of freedom, redemption, and sometimes a few detours along the way.
And believe me, this detour is a head scratcher.
Okay.
But let's back up for a sec. It all starts with a covenant, a sacred pact between God and the Israelites.
Right, so picture this. They've just escaped centuries of slavery in Egypt.
Centuries, yeah.
And God promises them freedom, a land of their own, and something really special, a unique relationship with him.
Okay, so far so good, right? Freedom, a divine promise, sounds like a pretty good deal. You'd think they'd be over the moon.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But, and this is important to remember, they're coming from a culture where, well, gods and goddesses were, physically represented everywhere. Statues, images, you name it.
So an invisible God, a God who's more about promises and covenants, that was probably a tough concept to wrap their heads around.
Exactly. An invisible God was, well, it was a difficult concept for them to fully grasp.
So to solidify this covenant, to make it real, God gives them a project, a pretty epic building project, right? The tabernacle.
Exactly. It wasn't just, hey, go build something. This was different. Think of it more like a portable sanctuary, a visible reminder of God's presence amidst their journey.
Okay, so kind of like a mobile command center for their faith.
Exactly. And here's the thing. The instructions, these weren't your average, put it together yourself furniture instructions.
Not an IKEA assembly guide. Got it.
We're talking intricate details, very specific materials, gold, silver, acacia wood, everything pointing towards this importance of reverence and intentionality in their relationship with God.
And the detail that always gets me, God chooses specific people for the job, like he's handpicking his A-team, Basil and Aholiab, essentially saying, you two, you're up. I've equipped you with the skills and the inspiration.
Imagine being chosen for such a task. It's almost like, being personally mentored by Michelangelo to design the Sistine Chapel.
Right. Talk about pressure. But see, that's where it gets really interesting for me. It suggests that human creativity, when it's channeled towards something bigger than ourselves, when it's aligned with a divine purpose, it becomes a reflection of God's own creative power.
And that's a powerful concept. It's like we're reflecting back a piece of the divine spark.
Okay, so they have the blueprints, the divine contractor, the skilled labor.
Yeah.
This tabernacle project has success written all over it.
You'd think so, right?
But speaking of patience, or maybe the lack thereof, this is where things take, shall we say, an interesting turn.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get complicated.
Imagine this. Okay. You make this really serious promise, a vow, but then almost immediately you chuck it aside like it's nothing.
And not for just anything, right?
No. You trade it for something shiny, something new, something that just grabs your attention. That's the Israelites in a nutshell.
Huh?
They traded a divine promise for what? Instant gratification. I don't know.
It's a classic struggle, isn't it? This desire we have, this very human desire to see, to touch, to have something, concrete, something solid in a world that often just feels, uncertain.
And let's be real. It wasn't just a casual, ooh, look, a shiny thing, let's put it over there kind of thing.
Right.
These guys went all out.
Oh, yeah, they went all in.
Exodus 32, it talks about feasting, singing, dancing. It sounds more like, I don't know, some kind of desert festival than a solemn act of worship.
It's almost like they just threw that covenant, that divine promise, a massive going away party.
It's like, remember that whole invisible God thing we talked about? Yeah, forget that. We need something we can see, something we can touch, something we can, I don't know, dance around.
And it's that yearning for the tangible, for something, immediate, That's what led them astray.
So meanwhile, up on the mountain, Moses is up there getting the 10 Commandments. I mean, talk about a direct line to God, right?
Yeah.
And down below, it's what? A divine rave.
Talk about a mood killer. You can practically feel this shift in energy when God tells Moses what's happening down there.
I bet.
There's anger. Yeah, definitely disappointment, a sense of betrayal. Like God saying, after all we've been through this is how you choose to act.
And let's not forget, through all of this, Moses is totally out of the loop, right?
Right.
Blissfully unaware. He's about to descend from this mountaintop experience with the ultimate to-do list for a faithful life.
And walk right into, well, that.
Oh, man. I can only imagine the look on his face. Have you ever been there? You're so excited to share something amazing, something, life-changing, but the person you're trying to tell, they're totally checked out.
Not even on the same planet.
Exactly. But this is on a whole other level. It's like he's coming down with a divine memo, and everyone's decided to hit the ignore button.
It's like trying to explain the beauty of a symphony to someone who's, I don't know, wearing noise-canceling headphones. It's a complete disconnect.
And Moses, in that moment of realization, I mean, how could he not? He reacts with this mix of anger, I bet, and just pure heartbreak.
He just hurls those tablets of stone inscribed with the law of God. I mean, talk about a mic drop.
Talk about a visual, right? The tablets, the law, the very foundation of their covenant, just shattered at the foot of the mountain.
The ultimate symbol of a broken promise.
So what's going through the Israelites' minds at that moment? Do they even grasp what they've done?
It's a moment of reckoning, isn't it? I mean, for everyone involved, the Israelites, they were so blinded by their need for anything tangible, that they broke the covenant. And Moses, their leader, their advocate, he's heartbroken, he's angry. And God's witnessing the ultimate betrayal.
So what happens next? Does God just hit the reset button on the whole operation? I mean, where do you even go from there?
It's a turning point in the story, a pivotal moment, because it reveals so much about God.
Okay, how so?
Because, there's anger, there's justice, of course, but there's also this thread of mercy, a willingness to forgive, to offer a path back to that relationship, and that's huge.
So there's hope for the Israelites. I mean, there's still a chance for them to get back on track after that.
There is, but, and this is important, it's not a free pass. What they did, their actions, those have consequences. Atonement, making things right, that's needed. But this is where Moses really steps up, and not just as a leader, but he becomes this intercessor.
Intercessor. So that's kind of like what? The go-between, the ultimate mediator.
Exactly. He's right there between God and the Israelites, and he's pleading for their forgiveness. Like, he's reminding God of his promise. And get this, he even offers to be punished in their place.
Wow. Okay, that's some serious dedication.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know, the friend who, no matter what you do, no matter how badly you mess up, they've always got your back.
It's a powerful testament to his faith, that's for sure.
But even after all of that, I mean, the drama, the anger, the broken promises, literally there's this incredible moment of, I don't know, grace, this glimpse into the core of God's nature. In Exodus 33, Moses, he asks God for something incredible. He says, "Show me your glory. I want to really know you."
Think about that for a second. He's not just asking for forgiveness, right? I mean, he's asking for an experience, a true experience of the divine. He wants a peek behind the curtain.
Talk about guts. It's one thing to follow a voice coming from a burning bush. I get that. But to actually say, okay, I'm here. Show me what you've got, who you really are.
And it's God's response that really makes this part so powerful. It's this amazing balance, incredible balance between awe, the sense of awe, and this deep, deep intimacy. He acknowledges that, encountering the fullness of his presence, that's dangerous.
Right. It's not like shaking hands with your neighbor.
He actually says, no one can see my face and live. But then, and this is the really beautiful part, God also recognizes what Moses is looking for. That deep desire for connection, for understanding.
Okay, so how does that work? How do you say no and yes to the same request at the same time?
It's in the imagery, the way this whole encounter is described. It's really powerful. So God tells Moses, he tells him he's going to be placed, tucked into this cleft of a rock, shielded, while God's glory passes by. And then when it's safe, when it's past, Moses, he's going to be able to see God's back. Not his face, but his back.
Okay, so it's like this paradox. You can't fully comprehend, you can't fully grasp the divine, but there's this knowledge, this intimate knowledge that comes even from just a glimpse, from seeing God's back. I don't even know what to say to that.
It's a powerful metaphor, I think, for the whole journey of faith. We're always striving to understand, trying to wrap our minds around the nature of God, this being who is so much bigger than us. But we're also constantly reminded that there will always be mysteries, things we can't fully grasp.
And that's okay.
It has to be, because faith, real faith, it's not about having all the answers neatly lined up. It's about trust. It's about trusting in the one who does.
That's a good place to leave it. We covered so much ground in this deep dive. We've talked about a covenant that was tested, about a leader who went above and beyond, a people desperate for something more.
It's an ancient story, that's for sure, but the themes, this longing, that search for meaning, it's all so incredibly human, so relatable even now.
Absolutely. And it's a good reminder that faith, well, it's not this straight line, this easy path. It's messy, it's a journey with all these twists and turns, and yeah, sometimes you end up building a golden cow in the desert. But even then, even when we stumble, God is there, offering second chances, deeper understanding, a way back to that connection. And that's a pretty powerful thought to carry with us.
Welcome to Charlie and Mia's podcast. We're embarking on an exciting journey to read through the entire Bible in just 1 year. Every day, we dive into Scripture, exploring its meanings and how it applies to our lives today. We invite you to join us on this incredible adventure of learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode.